So देश ते August 1st week ते World Breastfeeding Week मनाओ पो आज Indian Academy of Pediatrics Nagaland chapter खान भी breastfeeding practical बनावले emphasize कुछ IAP Nagaland chapter ब्रा सब अमा खान के exclusive breastfeeding तो बच्चा खान के 6 months तक दिपोले encourage कुछ IB details अब reporter दोना लोटे
HornbillTV itia Giant Hospital Dimapur te agina se bogan jana nisna hudai sal first week of August te World Breastfeeding Week itu celebrate krigina ahanisna yate Nagaland TV All Indian Academy of Pediatrics Nagaland chapter kan bi itu manigra especially maiki kan nimite itu breastfeeding tu kuribule laga importance tu takan itu highlight krigina ahala ase UNICEF ra data dia hisapte 54.9% ase wise maiki kan exclusively breastfeeding noilebi 6 month tak bacha kan ke itu breastfeeding kura laga kota tu ile tate janigo para la tu breastfeeding kura laga itu gap taka laga moan jani paise breastfeeding week itu manigina ahala laga porte itia Indian Academy of Pediatrics Nagaland chapter kan bi itu breastfeeding kura laga importance public kan ki aro janai dibule aro awareness bi dibo nimite itia press conference matina ase itu laga porte man itia details salumo.
My name is Dr. Akam and I'm the president of the Indian Academy of Pediatrics Nagaland branch, and we basically are celebrating the breastfeeding week. So breastfeeding week to mohan every year celebrate kore aru the first week of August te mohan celebrate kore 1st of August to the 7th of August aru itu WHO our World Alliance for Breastfeeding Action itu pura milai kina all internationally itu celebrate kore aru in India itu Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India connect association ase so itu khan pura spearhead korina itu celebration to thake. So based on this theme the theme this year is prioritize breastfeeding, create sustainable support system. So based on this theme the Indian Academy of Pediatrics would want to emphasize on making breastfeeding practical and accessible. Sob ke accessible hobo lage aro we want to promote breastfeeding. Kiman breastfeeding kore iman bhal ase itu mohan awareness ekta karone itu press meet to matia laga ase. Aro again once again I would like to thank the media friends for coming. So I would like to also introduce my friends here. Here we have Dr. Solantang, who is the General Secretary of the IAP Nagaland, and we have Dr. Apong here on my left. He is the Treasurer, and my colleague here, Dr. Tamjan, he is a consultant from Belhos Clinic, and we are here today to basically promote and create more awareness on breastfeeding. Now I would like to open the session to the media friends if you have any questions. Well, breastfeeding is very important, and that's the reason why every year we celebrate this. Now, apart from the benefits to the baby and the mother, there is benefits to the father also. Kilogole puisa bhi save ho jay. The formula can be expensive thage, so puisa bhi save ho idura. Our family laga financial economic bhi idura save ho jay. Itu in environment karne bhi bishi bhal ase breastfeeding. The kilogole the milk bona them the bottles khan hobi, packet khan hobi, wastage khan idu packets khan aru environment dirty kura idu khan bhi sob ke bachai loi. So it is amma ki bhi baby ki bhi aru baba family society aru environment khan karne bhi idu breastfeeding to bishi important ase.
So breastfeeding though, process of breastfeeding itself is important as khali milk ekla korne noy only process to be important ekta ase itu baby la do mohan benefits to discuss korbole to we can discuss maybe for 2 years itu there is a special branch people who study breastfeeding khali itu kone study branch with lactation consultant. But in short, few points I want to mention. It very important points. It provides complete and natural nutrition as though to breast milk to baby kone to boil korle na lage. You don't have to prepare especially in a prepare korle na lage. Then it complete nutrition as that baby la protein requirement, protein carbohydrates ki lage so milk already as and then not only that. baby specifically ekta ase milk to baby ba ki lage itu lage sabra amawa every mother produces different type of milk depending on the needs of the baby itu ekta ase aro itu na brain koni bi bishi important ekta ase to apni la every parent wants their child to be brilliant and then every time academically be bhalo hoitole mon jay to breastfeeding is one way you can help the child itu because the DHA kona ARA kona brain la nutrients itu kan so passe itu help kore the other point is that baby la immune system be itu help kore milk do is like first immunization dia nisna ase amala immunity ki whole life tai ki immunity develop kona ase itu baby ki be transfer kore through the milk and then those kun baby breast milk bal bar khaina lage etu one do long term help kone bal diabetes kam milk komte lagibo allergies kam milk komte lagibo to baby la bhi benefit porta ase and then when we come to the mother ama la bhi it's not only for the baby but for the mother also it's very important because itu ama ki recovery after delivery bhi help kore pain bhi komte hobo bleeding kam bhi komte hobo ina ase and then not only that ovarian cancer nishina breast cancer nishina ajikali to cancer do more and more so make ola nishina olai jase to itu kon so prevent kore itu na high blood pressure heart disease type 2 diabetes ama kon bi itu kon so prevent kore and then the other thing is the mother weight management kon be important ekta ase the mother doesn't have to gym ni jawle lage na figure maintain korle na we don't have to do all those things cholesterol triglycerides ki ane itu can be reduce kore so without any extra effort and then the other important thing is emotional bonding ase so many of the parents time na pai pacha kan bi dibole time na pai na take ajikali autism kan nisina ADHD ko attention deficit kan itu one piece ho jaje so one reason is that the emotional connect hona lage so through the breastfeeding to emotional connect kam lage so these are the few important points and more we can discuss also
so akita apni itu breast milk to child specific ena bhi mention kori ase to itu wala elaborate koribo
acha itu asol do ek par kochuli do milk to it produced from the brain in a way because kita baby bar suckle kore there are many hormones which the mother generates to itu ba detect korna the more the baby suckle the baby la requirement is about na so let's say that milk ama ekta baby ekta premature baby baje to premature mane time no pumja age baby bawan to tahan la milk requirement do tahan la nutrition requirement do alag lage they require more protein to be lage to premature milk or term milk to be ekdam composition do alag lage not only the composition in fact daytime produce kora milk night produce kora milk to be alag ase that's why khali kunba do khali daytime dibo kunba do ratike dibo to itu kan sob to complete milk to napai to conditioner itu amal baby ki requirement ase itu la amala body ba detect korna itu la sabra produce kore so premature baby la mother karmado more protein produce kore
itu baby specific mane apni eta doctor temchen babe elaborate kora nishina baby khan to jodi preterm mane time age di paije ekta term baby to mon kitia bhal ra 9 mahina bukhina thakibo itu anki term baby after 9 months paisi gole olibi itu la age bi pai jabo pare to inia baby khan to tai baby olibi ekta bishi chotu aro bitangor baby la majuti requirement to bishi alag ho jay aro ta regarding breast milk to idu ana premature baby khan la amabra milk to sawoli do ki nisna dikhe holibi bitor bra microscopically size gili to bishi difference thake takan protein bishi lage idu gani protein composition eniga aro baby to kitia dangor hogina jabo aro few premature baby to khai na olop moina bichi taibi taila time punchili do taila amala milk to hi naturally change ho jabo that is God's way of producing a very good nutrient for the baby as well as morning or evening la changes bi thake goi plus baby bra kita breast milk krubo first itia ekta session ekta boina tani siguli to first ahala milk to sai siguli to olop patla gorna thake because it contains more water and more carbs whereas aste ra khai na do after 10-15 minutes of breastfeeding khai aje to the first month it will give 4 milk front first agan hind milk thage so practical implication is that ki mon kite the baby ke olopi khai na rakhi dibo pare to first khai na bi to pura baby to tai nijor till tai nijor stop nokra da breastfeeding kuro lage that is the whole point of this theoretical discussion 4 milk hind milk la this edu theoretically it be aje aro kite bo mon bacha gan ke din di do or rati kan di convenient time di do formula khilai dibo din di do amagan kunbo to khali breastfeeding kuro nia mix bi kuri jay but we have to remember that ki din di khilala milk to ama ekta bra aichi goli bi milk la composition di difference thakibo so it's also very important that morning holibi din holibi as far as possible exclusive breastfeeding that means you have to try to breastfeed your baby morning evening till 6 months tak to mon exclusive breastfeeding to it be advocate kore so this is why we say ki it is in baby specific ko to taila baby la date time age hisab te amar milk to be produce kore
acha amila naglem context ye ama kan tangala bacha nu ye breastfeed kore no where and what is the scenario
अच्छा अभी kan Nagaland laga to enga statistics to naite do but what we feel as pediatricians we compare to the Indian national if you see the statistics it's around 63% na when do exclusive breastfeeding that is first 6 months bacha to khali to de dia da so in India it's around 60% in an ideal world na so bacha to 6 months to de khela ko lage but it to ejabi hone so it's around 60% if you see in the whole world if you look at statistics by UNICEF it's around 54% but on one hand if you see na आजकल तो बेसी तो पता तो hospital है delivery हुआ से nearly 80% but breastfeeding तो इतने भी कम है on one side if you see breastfeeding is culturally acceptable ना सब मानो breastfeeding तो if you see our tradition cultural सब accept करे but still gap तो है we wish it will be better but still there are a lot of gaps no breastfeeding करने
What is the ideal age? Up to what age breastfeeding?
If you see that the WHO recommend grado first 6 months to only breastfeeding, but up to 2 years tak to tooth kan khilabi na along with of course after 6 months to breastfeeding korbo alag bhabe khilabo but up to 2 years is the recommendation. You can oto barabi breastfeeding korbo para good no harm beyond 2 years also but at least no that is the recommendation. Of course, I think it's difficult to go into every detail, but there are some medication where we will say stop. For example, if mother to cancer has to stop korbo, but if it is just a paracetamol or simple medication or antibiotic, we will not stop. We will continue. But for that, of course, the doctor can give what you would like you. But for most tawai kan to stop karo na lagi except begonis na cancer kan na no.
What are some of the misconceptions on breastfeeding?
This is one of the most important point that we need to or what we want to highlight also regarding breastfeeding. So the first thing I want to say like I just add on to what just Dr. Salan has also answered ki tai mon kiman tak breastfeeding kuro lage kiman sal tak to exclusive breastfeeding guna ekta kotha thake or breastfeeding that means exclusive mane jonam hua din bra the day baby is born till up to 6 months khali breast milk ekla khilabo bacha ge to pani bhi na khilabo and then food pe ku na khilabo ama la breast milk is enough because it is a liquid diet so tadi pani bhi thake taila protein fats kan ki requirement vitamins vitamin sob pai jay so idu karone exclusively itui khilabo lage hoy बीमार होइसे बच्चे तो ना किबा एकटा होले दवाई खेला तो that is different or दवाई kan dolo pani di mix kuna diule lagi jay so that's a few ml of water which is we don't count as feed but other than that baby should ideally be breastfeed exclusively till 6 months 6 months onwards bra till up to 2 years tak bachcha do 2 saal no ha tak to breast milk feeding to continue krubo koi because tai to bachcha to 6 months pichi to mon tai ge complementary feeding khana gan food can start krubo that is culturally appropriate nijor la tradition nijor la culture hisab te to start kore only idu start kora da 6 months pichi 7th month starting la din ba tage bhat khilai chule itu bra tai starting is it so he'll eat 1 or 2 spoon, the baby may eat few spoon only, so still breastfeeding will be, breast milk will be the main food. Then onwards till up to 1 year pichide do aro 2 years tak tibi tai idu aste aste bai baby bacha ekta do mon bi jani thakibo ki bacha do 6 months ti do tai pura do nijor khai gena boi gena mon dia sob khabo na pare aro idula majeti bimar simar bi sorti kasigan bishi ulai do tu do am aro bacha na khao je because till up to 2 years do bacha gan idu viral infection choto moto bimar gan do tan growing up la bimar which we call idu bishi hoi thake to idu time di do tai khai thaga bacha ekta bi 1 sal adha bacha 1 sal already start kuna khai thaga bi ikun na khao je, so that time breast milk is the only sustaining nutrition. So that brings us to the second misconception in our culture ki ek sal ho bichi do breast milk stop kribi, which is totally wrong, because koanishna 6 months pra tai breastfeeding to continue kuri ase, but 6 months pra tai ge bhat kha start kurisi, to 6 months from 6 months to 12 months tak ti to bacha ekta to phal ra khawli nei ki na thake, to idula majute apni breast milk pe stop kuri dise, khana bhi phal ra na khai, to usually the bacha to till next 1 year to tai ge eku milk digena na thaki chi boli to tai struggle kora start kore, to bimar adam di amala dudh bhi na pae, khana bhi bhalwa na khai, kuchi boli to taila weight gain, taila growth ti bishi effect kore. So this is why it is one of the most important misconception that breastfeeding should not be stopped till up to 2 years to continue kuri. Beyond 2 years pe continue kuri, there's no harm, but by that time bacha to olo grown up kuna thake, independent hoina thake. So mohan idu cultural shaming about exclusive breastfeeding ek sal hoise chhari dibi idura ekta conception ki bacha ke dudh bishi dire khilai chuli to ama to weak hoi jaye, tai patla hoi jaye, these are all misconceptions, because amma ra bacha ke breastfeeding kora amala he benefit bishi hoy, harm to iku dikhana aji tak, to there's no scientific proof, and that is what one misconception we have. Another misconception is that ama to breast pala din to day baby is born ama to milk to bishi aibo lage, all of hanai guli to idu ama to milk kamti hoisu na ama ki pressure dia start kori ki idu khabi breast milk aibo, but in the first few days after babies is born, the mother will produce something what is called a colostrum. To idu colostrum milk to idu normal milk nishna noi, it's a very thick and then very rich in proteins and all these immunoglobulins, fats kan thagara, or it will be produced only in few ml, 5-10 ml nishna thage, which is sufficient for the baby. Mon baby ki idu 5-10 ml likla iman drop yo la idu baby to pet pota no hobo, but it is not like that, because it's quite energy dense. So idu kan aro aste or especially first timer ekta ama ekta hoisi guli to tahan do experience mi nai, or tahan la pressure bishi thake, or especially if is cesarean guna delivery bi bishi hoi jay, so idu bichi to tahan la idu milk produce guli to it becomes quite challenging. So this is not a fact that they should produce more milk, aste ra hoi jabo, we have to be very patient and considerate to the mother also. Another thing is that formula milk to na mon powder la milk kan ajikali lactogen kan ki bishi powder so manu jane, so idu kan to kha do breast milk to bhalo la siguna kinaba the misconception thage ki mon la bacha to ida mon do ek bar bi tage tina la powder la dudh khilana ta do lo weak ho na ki so manu bi do khila ase to kipek ta bhalo bona yona misconception thage. Of course formula milk to bia la kotha ko ane, but breast milk na punche na thagi jay, or first struggling mother than the mon kitaba the formula milk to be chola boli lai jay, but this is not better than breast milk, so that is another misconception. But definitely amala dudh na pai, or option nai na guru la dudh kan khela start kore, to idula the formula milk to bhalo la ase, because cow's milk is not made for human babies, especially in the first few months after birth, so it is like counterproductive hoi jay. Another big misconception is that ki ama gandu ekta ama hoise bhagwan bra apni ki baby diwole la opportunity dise breast feeding to kuri pariboi lage, ene bhi concept consider kora pressure dia start kore ki ama baba and grandmothers kan do especially koina ki mon do bacha kan 10 ta 20 ta mane 5 ta 6 ta family dangor banai che le mon do sab ki breastfeeding kore ase ajikali la maiki ando to ando lo kiba kumjor ase breast milk no lai gona lo pressure bhi thake, but it is not true. It is a natural process, but it is not like a fact that all the mother whoever are giving birth should be breastfeeding. Breast milk to ahivoli lage, because it is a nature, but there are certain techniques, certain ways to counseling can be divo lage. Now we are living in a world where even special lactation consultant can be thage jay. So before delivery bhi, after delivery, and then breastfeeding ki support krule to doctor kan holi nurses kan holi and even general public awareness kan thagili to it goes a long way in helping the mother to start breastfeeding, but without pressure. And then another one thing is that ki mon ekta do breastfeeding la do idu dawai khala do arbi apni gan hudia do just more clarify ki idu bi ekta misconception ase ki ama gan bacha gan do bimar hoishiguli ama gan ki khabo lage. That's another very important question ki bacha bukhar hoishiguli do ama breastfeeding kurabra taira mangso khabra nolibi itu khaise itu kurabra baby do bukhar bishi uthi ase do nolibi jaundice olai siguli do amma ekta chicken kha kiba kibi khawra idura inia ho ase do guna. There's no scientific proof, and in fact it is not true, because these are just cultural mohan nijor la Naga culture or Assamese culture or Hindu culture like Western culture de nijor la culturally appropriate inga taboo khan thake. But this is not a true, because why we stress so much on this is because bacha bimar adam de ama do already she is very conscious and very tip mane mon chuto gena phui lage na thake worried thake do itu la opore apni itu khabra apni la bacha bimar it produces so much emotional guilt in the mother that idura breastfeeding is impediment hoy. So this misconception should also be like a very big, we should need to fight by creating awareness. So these are the few misconceptions that we face commonly in day-to-day practice. Yes, definitely. Unless there is some medical doctor, which is quite rare, okay? But there are conditions which we will tell specifically to the mother, these are the things you should not eat because you are breastfeeding your baby. Even medicine also, most of the medicine that doctors write are breastfeed. If it's a good doctor, tic-tac doctor, breastfeeding then he will not write that medicine. So means to doctor, so it's usually safe. Another one thing, sorry, taking too long time, but baby bimar hua time de bukhar uthise kuli to ama to breastfeeding kuri ase to ama ki paracetamol khilai na itura baby ki tawai do breastfeed pra jagena baby phal hobo. That is also another big misconception. Just like ama to bimar hoina taila treatment bra bacha ki harm nokribo breastfeeding kuri because breastfeeding de ama la antibiotic ki tawai khado na jabo. It's a safe drug most of the time. Likewise, baby bukhar ase amar paracetamol khaina tagi breastfeeding kuli itura baby ke paracetamol do breast milk pra jana help kore. This is also another, that's why baby do bhali noy so serious bhi hoigena bhi pai jay. So this is another misconception. Thank you for raising that question.
So just in addition to what my friends said, mohan punish na 6 months tak to amala duthi dibo lage. In that process, see, mother ekta amma ekta kitia deliver kore, itu amma bhi man tired hoina thake. Cesarean hobi ki normal delivery hobi, they are tired. Aro ta kan bhi stressed thake. Physical ekla no, mental stress bhi ho jay. On top of that, ta kan support system bhal ra na paile to problem bishi holai jay. Kile gole this year mokhan la theme to kia ase gole da create sustainable support system. So itu support system to kun ase gule the mokhan sob ase, society ase, family ase, relatives ase, neighbors ase. So itu karne itu support system dibole do mokhan sob la responsibility ase. Instead of discouraging the mother ge itu nukuribi itu ki mana kura bora do mother ge encourage korina paribo de breastfeeding paribo de guna encourage kora bora takhan la stress release hui jay. Kitia stress release hobo, breast milk produce kurala hormones increase ho jay aru idubra breast milk flow do increase ho jay. Edu karne ama kan kitia deliver hoy takan actually idu counseling do delivery kura laga age bra start hobo lage. Pregnant thakadam de bra takan counseling start koribo lage. Breastfeeding kina koribo, baby ki kina dhoribo, idu kan to start kurigina thakibo lage. Many times mokhan Nagaland de idu practice to iman do nai hoilebi mokhan idu bi catch up koribo lage aru hikibo lage. Aru kwa sati khan bra kwa nishina khalwa de eku inika alak mana eku nai. Aru mokhan janibole laga do itu bacha khan do baby khan do kali porson takan mokhan la citizens khan hobole ase. Naga manu khan la future ase, India la future ase. Takan ki breast milk dia bora takan la IQ increase hoy. Itu to ekdom proven fact ase. There have been lots of studies. Breast milk ekla khabra IQ kiman increase hoy itu sob documented ase. Itu karone kiman mokhan la bacha khan, mokhan la society la bacha khan IQ bari jay, strength, immunity bari jay, iman mokhan la country, mokhan la state develop hogina jabo, advance hobo. Itu karone itu mokhan la future leaders, future citizens khan ge kinega gorna mokhan ra bhal wala ta khan ge breastfeed digina best nutrition dibo itu mokhan sob la responsibility as parents, as relatives and as a society. Therefore itu platform bora moi ko mon ja do breast milk to sobse best ase aru itu awareness to bishi important ase sob society karne.
Can mothers infected with HIV/AIDS can feed their child? Can breastfeed their child?
Instance.
Nako, National AIDS Control itu you can breastfeed, but only one thing is that mixed feeding na tagula lagi. Either it should be exclusively breastfeeding or exclusively formula. So to that to mix no because with mixed feeding there are more risks. Baby spread with chances.
Yeah, just to add to that, for that the mommy though should be on treatment, na? We
Medication.
to tawai khai thake like
HIV la dawai.
HIV la tawai, na? Then of course then baby also we give medication. If that is there and we will mommy laga HIV to control asna da ihan sai thake control ase kole do. If not control, then it's not advised. But if mommy la HIV do treatment hoik na control ase kole do, if you see the latest guidelines of National AIDS. So we look at the number of virus in the mother's blood, no?
Viral load.
Virus to come ase kole do. Yes, it is advised.
The best is undetectable hoile bhal. Mother laga blood te undetectable hoile do it is very almost safe ase. So on top of that baby ki bhi kunba dawai dibole olai jai. So itu prophylaxis bhi koi mokhane na, so that the baby does not get the infection. So overall in India or African countries this aise bole do prevalence to olop to high ase. Aru mokhan la poor condition financially economically mokhan olop poor ase. Edu karone breastfeeding do mokhan dibole do bishi mon ki lebole breastfeeding do nidile do edu amma baba do economically poor ase baby ki khilabole eku nai. Edu karone mokhan breastfeeding do khilabole mon. But for that it will be better and best if the mother has already taken the ART or the treatment for HIV properly. Inia hoisugule do virus to amma la dute ulawole chance bishi kom ho jay. Less than 1% bhi kobo paribo. Edu karone undetectable hoise gole the almost 100% chance that the baby is not going to get the HIV from the mother.
So
And yeah.
Just to add on to that, no? So ultimately though it is theoretical discussion is now, but for practical purpose, simply first thing though apni HIV asna na itu janibo lage amado. तो इधर करने एंटीनेटल चेकअप करना एक कथा था कि विश्व वाला तो अचानक पर आपने कितने भी चेकअप कराना है बच्चा बुखी ना आज ही डिलीवरी कुले आज ना हॉस्पिटल पर पेन उठी ना आइसे कुले तो इधर टाइम तो हॉस्पिटल आइसे कुले तो स्क्रीनिंग तो करे तो इधर टाइम थोड़ी सी कुले ना आमा तो एकु तो कितने भी लुगे ना थका ना ताई भी निजर भी ना जाने ना थकी चले इधर टाइम तो एकु ट्रीटमेंट ना तो आमा बेबी की तो मोहन ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग मने इधर एडवाइस ना करो होली भी जुदी अपनी आगे बढ़ा 3 महीना 4 महीना आगे बढ़ा अपनी प्रेग्नेंट हुआ पीछे ठीक तक चेकअप करना दे ठीक तक जगह दी जैसे बोले तो गवर्नमेंट से हुई प्राइवेट सेक्टर दी हुई इधर ब्लड टेस्ट का सब रेडी करना था तो जानी इधर टाइम दे आगे बढ़ा बच्चा बुखी ना फर्स्ट 3 मंथ्स दी डिटेक्ट करना था किसी बोले तो ART को ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करना था वो तो इधर टाइम दे ART सेंटर बढ़ा अपने वाला डॉक्टर खान कुन का नर्स खान बढ़ा साहेब फाल बढ़ा गाइड करो सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट चाहिए ना आमा प्रेग्नेंट आमा सब तो स्क्रीनिंग करो लाइक फॉर ईच प्रेगनेंसी लास्ट टाइम ना थकी दिस टाइम तो ना थकी हुई ना भी को गारंटी नहीं सो जाएगा ना करीबी देन इतु पीछे दो अपने एक बार डिटेक्ट करिए ना इधर ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करिए तो हैंड होल्डिंग करो till अपनी डिलीवरी ला आगे बढ़ा अपनी की दवाई खाओ लगे बेबी की भी आफ्टर डिलीवरी की ना हैंडल करो ले सब भाल बड़ा बुझाई दे सो इधर प्रैक्टिकली फॉर मदर्स दिवो पारे ना दिवो पारे तो इमान कंफ्यूजन भी नहीं और भी बेस्ट तो अपनी गान गानी इन्हीं का जाएगा ना कि बात इस साइले बाल बिकॉज नागालैंड इज द सेकंड मोस्ट highest prevalence in all over India. Nagaland after Mizoram, Nagaland is the highest HIV prevalence state. So these are very important questions that you asked. Thank you so much.
Just to find, I mean, if you go to the civil hospital, the statistics maintain correct. Till now, kunba if the mother is on the medication, no, bachagan ekta bhi banai. Till now,
Yeah.
if mommy do HIV do baise, will be treatment ase kore to till now mommy bra bacha ke transmission to ita do ekta bhi nahi. So even if they are breastfeeding also.
So in addition to that, since our team is sustainable and support system, moi aro ekta additional point ko mon jado mukhan mothers khan ke privacy laga area bhi lage. So hospital de bhi hobi ghor de bhi hobi ta khan breastfeeding kuribole privacy area ekta bonai dibo lage. And nowadays airport khan debi they should have a privacy area for the mothers, lactating mothers, breastfeeding mothers. Airport hobi, train station hobi, bus station hobi, offices khan de hobi. They should include a place where ama ekta baby ge aram bora jaina without any problem, privacy de itu breastfeeding kuribo pari bole laga. Itu bi mohan awareness create kuribo lagi. Offices khan de hobi kuti hoi libi itu khan janibo lagi. Itu bi ekta problem.